musician Belinda Carroll. Singer-songwriter Sarah Leenders. Your house band, the Digital Special. There they are. And your hosts, Stacey, Hallal, and Jay Flewelling.
Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome back, Jay.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah.
I said welcome back, but some of you may be here for the first time. Who's here for the very first time?
Welcome.
Welcome for the first time. So nice to have you here. We got a great show tonight.
Yes, we do.
We have a lot to go over. So everyone get out your notebooks. Be ready to start taking some notes.
Yeah, number 2 pencils.
We have a bunch of great guests. But first, we need to talk about what's been going on. Yeah. So doctors have been urging people to stop touching their own faces in order to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Additionally, doctors have been also urging Joe Biden to stop touching other people's faces to prevent the spread of the heebie-jeebies.
Please stop.
Heebie-jeebies. I had heebie-jeebies so bad I couldn't say heebie-jeebies.
Please just stop everything.
Stop it.
Well, meanwhile, an employee at Amazon headquarters in Seattle has tested positive for COVID-19, which sucks for him. But what I really want to know is how will this affect my 2-day shipping on the crate of face masks I ordered?
What about you, Jay? What about you?
Oh, yeah, me.
Scientists discovered a weird hole on the planet Mars this week.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that in the news. Theories are that this formation is either the product of ancient volcanic activity on the surface of Mars or an elaborate publicity stunt for TLC's hit reality show, Dr. Pimple Popper.
Yeah, it could be that.
Could be
I'm just
either
glad
one.
the weird hole setup didn't go the way I expected.
Well, in other gross news, very gross news, a woman in Pennsylvania has just been found to suffer from a urinary auto-brewery syndrome, which causes her bladder to produce alcohol. True story. Now, subsequently, there's a new bar opening in Pennsylvania, and it serves flat beer at 98 degrees.
Ew! The finger licking me. Finger licking me.
It was here, and I was like, I'll take it there.
Who drinks beer and then goes,
No one.
There is some sad news this week as Portland's last adult movie theater has finally closed down. Yeah, sorry everyone. That means there's only one choice left for fans of sticky floors and public sex. IKEA.
Yeah, okay. Well, a recent paper in the Nature Geoscience Journal suggests that the Earth was once completely covered in water. All hail the one and only true prophet! Yeah, I never watched that movie.
I didn't either, but I know it's about the world being covered in water.
Okay.
And it cost like $1 billion.
That's right, and it was bad. Did anyone enjoy Waterworld? Yeah. Oh, all right. Should I go home and watch it tonight? Okay, if I don't like it, it's your fault. Okay. Unfortunately, Super Tuesday happened, and it did not go well for Senator Elizabeth Warren, who consequently dropped out of the presidential race. Once again, an expert woman who's working super hard was overlooked in favor of mediocre white men who show up without doing any hard work. Jay? In Edmonton, Canada, large amounts of purple smoke just appeared in the sky out of nowhere, which, can only mean one thing. The Cardinals have chosen a new Barney. Anoint him.
Yeah, Barney is Catholic. Okay.
Famous Edmonton Vatican.
That's right, the party. Anyway, the FCC recently reported that they received over 1,300 complaints after the Jennifer Lopez and Shakira Super Bowl halftime show. They said that the complaints fell into 3 different categories. The first ranged, but the spirit of it was I am 10 years younger than Jennifer Lopez, and I never looked like that. That's not fair. The second one was, they are singing in a language I don't understand, and it's making me feel irrelevant. And 3, I'm a straight woman and try to suppress my sexual desires, but Shakira's performance made me tingle down there. And now I'm aroused and confused.
Just lean into it. Just lean into it, America. All right. Well, this week, the Trump campaign has unveiled the new Trump blimp that will hover over swing states during this year's election cycle.
Yeah.
Now, the campaign spokesperson stated that the Trump team is thrilled to be taking yet another step back to the 1800s.
It's late night special.
Yeah! Handshake, handshake, handshake.
You should do virtual handshakes.
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
You've been away.
I've been away. I was on a February frigid friend tour.
Frigid as in cold weather.
Yes, because I went to Chicago.
It took me a second.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were
It
like
took everyone
going
a
to,
second.
Yeah, I thought we were going to visit your frigid friends.
Well, they were mean. No, they were fine. I went to Chicago and Madison and then Anchorage, Alaska. And it was so cold.
Yeah. Why would you go to those places in the middle of the winter, Jay?
Because my friends were there. And, well, I'm a lifelong Oregonian, and so it was like kind of like a novelty. I was like, this is so cold and miserable. And they were like, this is our lives.
What was the coldest?
Madison. When we got into Madison, it was 1 degree.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not so bad. In Edmonton, it gets like negative 35.
That's horrible.
That's why they do the Barney selections there.
But that's Celsius, Stacey.
You know what? When you go below 0, Celsius and Fahrenheit are pretty much the same.
Wow.
That's what I learned.
Just another mediocre white man chiming in.
Thanks for your input, though.
My pleasure. I'm an expert on most things.
Yes, I'm sure.
But I'm back, and I'm excited to be back.
Awesome. Well, I had a very exciting week. Anyone who's been to late night special before? Wow. Hey, thanks you two. I've been talking a lot about dogs, and this week I found a puppy.
What?
Yep, we're gonna get a puppy. I don't know if Anthony has the photo, but that's our guy. He's not ready to come home yet. He is going to be giant. It's a sheepadoodle.
Wait, what is that?
It's half sheepdog,
Okay.
half standard poodle.
Oh,
So
wow.
he'll be as big as I am.
Wow.
Probably, yeah. And he's super cute. And there's another, is there a video or another picture? There's a video of him.
Carrolls. We have a brown collared boy, Carroll.
Look at the camera.
Yeah.
He's got some white splashes, abstracts on him.
Abstracts. Yeah.
Feet.
They are just barely moving. So the video is hilarious because they're all just kind of wandering around, like wandering into the walls because they just started moving and opening their
and
eyes.
there's like a giant Charlie Brown
Yeah.
hand, like rah, rah, rah,
They're like,
rah.
ah! And then I have a video of the ones that are 2 weeks older so you can see what they look like when they're, these are all just white and gray or white and black. The one I'm getting is
How did you choose these?
this is on a farm in the middle of Pennsylvania. So I'm gonna go to Pittsburgh to get it. And I love these two who just keep eating. The ones in the back are having like this massive party and those two never stop eating. So they're gonna be all fluffy and playful and big.
You're gonna fly it back?
Yeah, so earlier I was saying I was going to Pittsburgh and Steve was like, why are you going to Pittsburgh? It's in the middle of nowhere. I didn't know that. Like it's like 4.5 hours from Philadelphia. It's further than Seattle is from here. So,
I went to Seattle recently.
You did?
And I decided I don't like Seattle.
A lot of people. Let's have a round of applause for Jay dissing Seattle.
Don't like it. I got 2 parking tickets within 8 hours.
What?
Yes. I pull up to my Airbnb. It's a solid neighborhood. I'm like, it's fine. My Portland sensibilities are just like, it's okay. And I woke up to a ticket on my car that was like, you can't park here or be here from 6 to midnight.
6 p.m. to midnight?
Yeah, fuck Seattle. And then I went to the theater to teach my workshop, and then like they have angle parking, and I like crossed the lane of traffic to like nose in, and like nose in on the other side was a ticket-worthy offense.
So you broke several traffic laws and
did.
parking laws,
I did.
and have decided you hate the entire city
I
of
did,
Seattle for that.
Yeah, I did.
They gotta make up for the Amazon tax break somehow, don't they?
Yeah, but I did plead to the court, and they did reduce the fees.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Well,
But still, fuck them.
So the only thing I'm worried about in terms of getting this puppy is travel, because coronavirus is causing people not to travel, and if we get quarantined or anything. So we have a show here every third Wednesday called Portland's Finest Videos. The video that we're about to play won first place, even though it's more of like a hard, what's the term? Hard cutting expose on the coronavirus.
The truth.
Yeah. So Anthony, do we have that video ready to go?
Chinese officials have now confirmed over 6,000 cases of the coronavirus. Tomorrow, the World Health Organization will determine whether to declare this outbreak of emergency.
Coronavirus outbreak is now a global health emergency. It has now spread to 18 other countries.
Expose is the expression I was looking for.
Are you worried about it?
Sales of Corona have actually plummeted because of the virus, if people don't want to think about it.
One of the silver linings to this whole virus.
Yeah.
People are washing their hands and drinking less shitty beer.
That's right, that's right.
Are you worried, or what do you think?
I'm not, and I grew up in like a high crisis kind of environment, so when things go, like when things are intense, I get really calm. So I've been feeling particularly calm. I'm waiting, like I just also don't like to panic.
Yeah.
Is anybody here feeling panicked? Well, I want to thank the three of you for coming out tonight. I figured that the people who are coming out aren't so worried about it. Not yet, you know?
Well, somebody was saying that it's like, look at this, or like kind of hyping it up to like distract from, you know,
The election?
the election.
Which is more terrifying to me.
Oh my God, I'm so sad about Elizabeth.
Me too. And I feel like some of the things that we're doing though now are things, like we should be washing our hands. And you know, my boyfriend and I went to New Seasons and he was hungry and he was like, oh, I hope they have that bread out. And we started walking over and I was like, you know, maybe not with the free food samples right now.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, good point. So we kept shopping and then he went back to get something and he watched a woman sneeze all over the bread display. And I thought, maybe not ever with the unattended food samples.
Yeah.
You know, like when someone's there, they're gonna take care of it. But when it's just out, probably not a good idea. All right, I'm ready for some stand-up to get our minds refreshed. You ready to see some stand-up comedy? This comic has been performing for, I think it's like 3 billion years.
Forever.
That's her laughing. She has been running the Portland Queer Comedy Festival in town, produces a bunch of shows, has been performing for at least a decade. Yeah, we've worked together here a lot. Please welcome to the stage, Belinda Carroll. Hi, I'm gonna give you a hug. And then Steve, will you take this out of her way? Belinda Carroll, everybody! Belinda Carroll!
coronavirus thing that hugging is now like a really intimate thing to do just with somebody.
It's true.
Like I trust you enough that you're gonna hug me with I want to invite you to my newest event, Kissing for Coronavirus. We're gonna have a really good time. Okay, have we not been drinking? Thank you. And no, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be anywhere that's not my bedroom right now. Like I've spent the entire winter in my bedroom just eating peanut butter cups and just watching Netflix. Like I really need to stop it. Like I've gained 30 pounds since I started listening to Lizzo. She's raised the nation's self-esteem by like 25 points in this year alone, though. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like moves have been made. Like, Warren's like in her bedroom getting ready in the morning and like, oh, yes, I'm 100% that bitch. I feel like she's gonna make a comeback. I feel like she's gonna be like named VP or something, you know? Right?
Yeah,
right? I wanna see a Bernie Warren ticket. That's my dream. I have no joke with that. We're just hoping for the future. Just trying to give you a little hope for the future. I feel like I'm kind of prepared for this time in the world because I'm a lesbian who was raised Southern Missionary Baptist and I have 3 Republican brothers. So stand-up is my revenge. This is what I do. But also I just feel like I've already been through it, so I'm like, listen, we're all making it out. It's gonna be fine. We just have to keep like not going to their baby showers. My family always invites me to shit that I don't want to go to because they all have different priorities than me. And so they invite me to stuff like baby showers. And like, I don't know how to get prepared for a baby shower. Like I know how to prepare for a dungeon party, but I have no idea how to prepare for a baby shower. I'm just in a baby gap trying to decide between a monkey rattle or a pink elephant. Or if it's just skip to her future and buy her a bottle of Boone's Farm and a GED homestead course. So. I went with the elephant because in my family you should get one of those in the room. Just right away. It's just, I've had a weird month. I've had a really weird month. I woke up about 2 weeks ago to a Wikipedia page about me. Okay, so this is the thing about Wikipedia pages, you don't control them. They just show up, and you're like, oh, they know a lot about me now. And so it's like, it's very detailed. It's like everything I've ever said in public in my life. And, but anyway, one of the things is that I lost 180 pounds like 5 years ago. And that's great, except for since I quit smoking, I've gained 50 pounds back. And so what I want is I want somebody to go in there like once a week and just update my weight. Just on a continual basis. And I'm fine that I gained a little bit of weight. I realized I lost too much weight because white guys started hitting on me. It was the worst. It's just, I mean, and it's not all white guys either. It's specifically white dudes with the sunglasses on the back of the head. I don't know why, the Hurley shirt, for some reason, that's always a part of it. I remember the day it happened because I was getting out of my minivan at the Arco station. And I was going up to the door and this dude bolts like 400 feet to open a door for me. Which sounds really nice, but I'm a lesbian. This is like developing a superpower that I never wanted. Just like the ability to manifest just a ton of cilantro for no reason. Just like, what am I gonna do with this much cilantro? And the thing is, for 80% of the population, cilantro is a fine garnish. But for 20% of the population, cilantro tastes like soap. Yes. And it is always trying to get in my taco. It's very frustrating. It was a long way to go for a pun, but I got a pun and oh, I feel really good about that. You can't hurt my feelings. I feel like finally gay people are popular and big asses are popular. It's my time. Like I can't just like, you know, whatever. I did a show that's called Comic Strip, where the comics, you do your jokes, and then every 2 minutes a mistress rings a bell, and then you take off a piece of clothing to modern hip-hop dance music. And then you go back into your jokes, and then you do that until you're naked, like, to your comfortability level. And I did that. I only stripped down to, like, my bra and my panties, so I feel like 44, like, stripping's not my plan B at this point. You know what I mean? Or my plan Cardi B. I had this woman walk up to me after the show, and she's like, can I ask you a question? Did you not strip all the way down because you have, like, body issues? And I'm like, no, dude, I've been single for 3 years. this shit looks like the yard around an abandoned building. Just the grass is all overgrown. There's 2 pit bulls fighting for no reason. Just a broken down Camaro. It's like just like Gresham Troutdale. It's just all. It's just like, you know. It's like I call my fupa Upper Rockwood. It's man, I'm trying to pay attention. The politics thing is just really tough. So I've developed a crush on Rachel Maddow.
Yes!
The lesbian music.
Yes.
I never thought that I'd be in a hotel room masturbating to MSNBC. She's the hottest. She's a Rhodes Scholar. That's like the hottest thing. So I got obsessed and I wrote a song about her. Does everybody want to hear it?
Yeah.
One day I was watching MSNBC. I saw a short haircut and oh lordy be. Rachel Maddow, your interview skills out of sight. I just want to occupy you every night. You state an opinion that I like. I feel like I've been hit by a mandated airstrike. Rachel Maddow, you make this girl wanna cry. You get me going with Gaza Strip in Palestine. So Rachel, if you ever want a bone, I'll supply you with my unmanned drone. Rachel Maddow, you make politics a lot of fun. And even in a recession, I still want to give you some. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean every word of that song, too. Except for lately, she's been going on location, which is great because it makes me feel like we're role-playing. I wish that was a joke, it's not. I've been Belinda, Carroll, you guys have been great. Thank you so much.
Belinda, Carroll!
So speaking of music, I'm very excited about our next guest. She's a singer and a songwriter and a doula.
A doula.
So we'll find out more about that after we hear some music. Please give a warm welcome to Sarah Leenders.
Thank you.
Here I go again, running circles in my mind, wishing that I could get you to understand what you mean to me, but I'm just talking to myself. You are not here with me. I tried to get my heart to let you go. I hid and I cried, wondering what is wrong with me, and what is this love? Am I just captive to the mystery? Don't wanna make it stop. Senses, and I'm trying to accept it, surrendering control, and I'm dropping my defenses, and I'm seeking true connection, and it's sinking in that you don't reach for me, reach for me. But I'm coming to my senses, and I'm trying to accept it, surrendering control. And I'm dropping my defenses, and I'm seeking to connection, and it's sinking in that you don't reach for me. You don't reach for me. You don't reach for me.
Sarah Leenders, everybody!
Yeah.
Sarah, why don't you come on over and chat with us. That was beautiful. What a lovely voice you have.
Your voice is angelic.
It is. How long have you been playing music and singing?
Oh, since I was a little kid, we sing in the family and sing around the piano. And I picked up a guitar around like 16, and I'm just okay at it. But I can scratch it out.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Pretty nice. I love that. I love musical families. Such a nice thing to do together. You know, that harmonizing together releases bonding hormones.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah. I've got sisters, and we all sound exactly the same, so we just harmonize together.
I do too. I have two sisters. We all have the same. We look nothing alike, but people hear us and think that we're sisters because we are. That's fantastic. Now you are also a doula.
Yes.
Look at this.
Oh.
This table's gonna fall over. So you're a doula. Can you explain for people who might not know what a doula is? What does a doula do?
Yes. I'm a birth doula, so I will assist moms and their partners as they birth their baby. So we get together a couple times before and talk about what kind of birth experience they want to have, talk about the things they can control and the things they can't control and what to do when things come up. And we just prepare, and then I go to them when they're laboring and provide hands-on physical comfort and support and emotional support. And I don't do anything medical, but I'm there from beginning to end through the whole birth process, just to support the parents with objective and, educated care.
That's amazing. Yeah. So they usually have a doctor they're working with, and you're in addition to that.
Yeah.
And you meet just a couple of times ahead of time. It's incredible. Like, the medical system is so broken. It's like my doctor said she has 1,000 patients. What? 1,000 patients.
Wow.
Like, how can you keep track of anybody?
Yeah.
And so having somebody who's, how many people do you work with? How many clients, or what do you call your?
Yeah, clients.
Yeah. How many?
These days, I only do it every so often because I'm also a mom of 3 little kids myself. Thank you.
Wow.
It's nice to play for grown-ups and not be interrupted, because I play 3 nights a week, for my audience of 3 kids under 10 years old. And we have a good time. But so I only do it once in a while now, but I've attended over 40 births now, and I have a client coming up next month. I'm really excited, so it's really fun.
It's so incredible. I have a friend who I love dearly, and this must be something you deal with a lot, who had this, she's very creative, and you probably don't deal with this particular fantasy, but she wanted to do a water birth, and she wanted to make a mermaid outfit, and so it would just be sort of the front piece, and she wanted to feel like a mermaid who was giving birth and do all this.
Wow.
And then
That's a complicated kink.
I can't imagine having your legs together while you're laboring.
Yeah, that's why it would be more of like a flap in the front, but she would, so she'd still have the freedom of her legs. But she ended up having some complications, and she was so heartbroken that she lost control of this experience, and it wasn't the way that she had dreamt of it. Is that something you find, because you brought that up, that the idea of like being able to control how it happens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a huge thing. We talk through kind of riding that line, because sometimes women will be like, I don't care what happens, I'm just gonna do whatever the doctors say and we'll just go with the flow and it'll be great. But they have no idea what they're going into, and then a slippery slope happens and all of a sudden they're on this like runaway train, mixing metaphors, but they, then they're just feeling lost and totally out of control, whereas they don't know what they can control. So there's a delicate dance there. So you kind of talk through those things.
And you're like the advocate there of, do you try to help them decide when to steer off the course they thought they were going to be on?
I try not to interject or influence what the clients want to do, but just support whatever they want to do. So if we've talked about something in advance, I might bring up the question of like, we had talked about this, was that something you wanted to ask the provider about, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't speak for them or take charge of the situation at all. It's more like, do you have any questions, or did you want to ask about that one thing on your birth plan? And they'll be like, oh yeah, and then,
So
something
wild.
like that.
Like the opposite extreme, one of my best friends also was just like, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take the drugs, that's what the drugs are for. Like, I'm just gonna go in and do it. Had her first birth, was perfect, she was very happy with how it went. Second time she went in, the nurse said to her, are you sure you want the drugs? Because I think you can do it. And you're almost there already. And she said she just had a moment of ego come in and be like, yeah, I can do it. And she regretted it. She was like, it was so much better with the drugs. So it's a very vulnerable moment when somebody's about to do it. Be like, you're already almost there.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had all three of mine without medication, and I love my Thank you. I was fortunate that everything went perfectly the way that I wanted it to, so a lot of people
did you have a doula
by
helping
that,
you?
but I did, yeah.
Is it like having a doula with a doula? Is it like a doctor having a doctor? Are you?
Yeah, totally. Because my first, I wasn't a doula when I had my first, but then I was when I had my second and third, and at one point the nurse was like, I was up in my head and analyzing because I was having contractions, but they weren't really getting into a pattern, and I was like, I know I'm in labor, but why isn't this going anywhere? And she's like, listen, you need to shut off your doula brain. You're the mom. Let her be the doula. Let us be the medical care. And I was like, okay.
So my aunt is married to a really lovely, like, soft-spoken man who was going to be a monk, actually, and then they met, and he was like, I can't do it. I'm in love with this woman. And they're very sweet, gentle people, and they were giving birth to their first child, and they had done all the mas and the breathing and home birth stuff, and apparently while she was in the middle of it, he was doing the stuff, and she just leaned over and went, shut the fuck up and go guard the door! And she has no idea why she said go guard the door. It was like some like hut, in her mind. She was like, she has to guard the hut from lions. Like, just some like animal instinct kicked in. Have you ever witnessed any like total animal reactions that shocked you?
I haven't seen any like outbursts of anything verbal like that.
Yeah, maybe
there's
she's just
a
been
lot
keeping
of
it
sounds. There's a lot of sounds in birth that you would be surprised that humans can make. Yeah.
Well, I was
Yeah.
so. What is the sort of the best thing that one of your clients has said to you or thanked you after they gave birth?
Oh gosh. Oh, I don't know any quotes off the top of my head, but generally there's a feeling. Yeah, generally there's a feeling of they remember moments where they felt like, I can't do this anymore. It's gonna make me tender, and I can reach them and encourage them in that moment, and they are able to keep going, and then they're thankful for that, and they can come back and tell me that. And I remember that as a mom myself too, so I know every little bit of support matters. And when you're in labor, especially without medication, the prefrontal cortex shuts off, so language and forming sentences is really hard. You can do one-word answers maybe, or just moan. And so it's not like I can be like, thank you, that feels good, or oh, you're really encouraging right now, or oh, I need water. It's just So when we talk about it after, it's cool to hear those moments where I was able to step in and provide encouragement that really made them feel like it made a difference. So
amazing. Do you stay connected to the
totally.
kids
Yeah, a
and
lot
feel
of them.
connected to them?
Yeah, a lot of them, yeah. Some of the clients I've had become my best friends. It's really
Aw.
cool. And some I'm not in touch with anymore. It just kind of depends
Yeah.
on the flow, but yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for talking to us about that.
Thank you.
Do you want to play a game before you go?
Okay.
And we'll have you back for another song. Jay, will you get an audience member to join us in this game?
Who
while
wants
I
to
get
come on
what
up
we need
here
for the
for an
game?
audience member? Do you want to come up here? Yeah, come on up here. Come up here. Give a round of applause for this guy. Wow. Welcome. What's your name, sir?
My name's Tommy.
Hey, give it up for Tommy. Okay, you're gonna sit here. Yeah. And then you're gonna have this microphone. Yeah, sit down. I don't really know what's
We're
going on.
gonna play.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, here we
Okay.
go. Oh, wait, we're
gonna play
standing.
this game. We're gonna stand up. We're gonna
Yes.
stand up, and I'm gonna give you
don't have to
this.
fight. Take that.
And is this about the same? Yep. And then Jay, I'll give you this one. There isn't a blue one, Jay,
Dang it.
but you can remember. You can mark it. Okay, so you're gonna take this one. What's your name?
My name's Tommy.
Tommy, I'm Stacey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, we're gonna play a game. So the way this game works here, let's put the blue ones in the top. Jay, you mark your top one somehow.
Okay.
Here, just crinkle it.
Okay,
There,
there we
we
go.
know that's where you started. Great, and what you're gonna do is I'm gonna say go, and you're gonna take the bottom cup, and you're gonna put it up in the top cup. You can practice if you'd like.
So like
As fast as
Yep,
you can.
as fast as you can, and then you're gonna go all the way around till the blue one is on the top again.
Okay.
Are you cheating?
No.
All right, do we have some music, Anthony? All right, ready, set, go!
Uh-oh.
That's what happened to Jay last time. Oh, did he? Oh, no! Frank? Yeah.
I got it.
Oh, another
There
bird.
it is! Jay, you get worse at this every
I
time we
know.
play.
I played this so well the first
My
time.
last two are really stuck together.
Yeah, they were. You still won. Tommy, you won 2 free tickets to come back to Carrie's
Oh my God.
Comedy. You can come there and get that. Thank you so much. Jay, I'll take those cups for you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he's going to take the cups.
get the
And you
cups,
can
too.
keep those cups. Give it up again for Sarah
She'll be
Leenders.
back.
Talk again, or we'll play some music again.
I do get worse at that.
You do get worse. You get chew in your head about it. It's like when I go bowling. The less I think, the better I do.
That's true.
Isn't this what golf's supposed to be that way,
That's
too?
true too. I only can play golf for about like 9 holes because after that I start to really hate my dad.
All right. Is it an association, or is it that
It's
the
like-
first 9 holes get you down to your core feelings that are unresolved?
Yeah, it's just like that's enough, you know, like just like all visits, you know, like 9 holes, that's
Oh, you're
enough.
golfing with your dad?
Yeah, golfing with
Okay,
dad,
I
yeah.
thought just something about golfing after 9 holes, you were like, it's like whenever I do yoga, I get angry.
But at who?
Uh,
Yourself?
Yeah, my
God?
body, at yoga, at the instructor. 'Cause
My
it's-
yoga studio is moving. So the Iron Horse restaurant in Selwood shut down. Boo. No one cares.
People care.
Do they care?
Yeah.
Iron
Yes.
Horse?
I think so, yeah.
So Tommy cares.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
been a big part
Well,
of that neighborhood for a long,
It's
long
shut
time.
down, and then my yoga studio is taking it over.
Wow,
So
it's gonna be huge.
it's gonna be, yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I'm worried about it.
All right, are you ready for some storytelling?
Yes, I am.
Our next guest produces a bunch of shows in town, which we'll learn more about shortly. Please welcome Jasmine Pettet.
This is where I can actually see the papers, so we're gonna go real crooked here. I am not alone when I have my headphones on. And at the kitchen table, I am considering clicking on possibly the best mix ever from a boy that was very important to me at one point, important enough to have his handwriting committed to my skin, and for me to learn how to make pie crusts from scratch for him. That asshole is long gone, but there's still this mix, and there's a song on it that I'm trying to track down, and I think it's on here, but I haven't listened to it since everything went to shit with him. So I'm just sitting here, like with the birds, making the tree branches shiver out the window, and the crows screaming at the squirrels for eating all the best bits out of the feeders, and I am skeptical about listening to this music. Because this music is still his. This music is about driving through Estacada with the windows down at dusk. It's about driving to Seattle and me opening his car door into a currently parking car in a parking lot. It's about standing on the beach together until we just become silhouettes. It's about saying yes to every show that he's ever invited me to because I trust the process. He shows me bands. We drink icy bottles of Miller High Life. This mix is his. This music is his. He left this mix for me in a Ziploc bag in his mailbox, and I went and I picked it up late at night and I traded it for a mix for me. This music is his, and that's why I don't listen to it anymore. Because nothing puts you back in a place like music does, right? Tommy? The soundtrack we make for all the ups and downs and the heartbreak and the new love and old grief, and in so many ways we are alone. We are alone on the bus and in our empty apartments. We are alone in rooms full of people and in bed with the wrong person. We are alone until we put music on. And then we're reminded that everything we feel is right and real and valid because somewhere, some fucking singer felt it too, even if it was only for 3.5 minutes, so I am not alone when my headphones are on. I'm not alone in 1996 in the front lawn with one of my first real friends, right after discovering that you can basically shoplift from Columbia House and BMG Music. Before I know what kind of music I liked, hot summer afternoons spent choreographing dances to songs like When I am young and desperate to not feel like this, whatever this is, I am not alone on the Greyhound bus with my sadness twisting itself into some very age and gender appropriate fury while listening to with all the southern cold highways and the flatlands flying past the windows, unaware of everything that will come next for me. Driving through California, he says, sing along, and I kind of do, and he's like, no, sounding good is not the point, man. The point is to just sing as loudly as you possibly can, and I sing like this much louder, and he says, you really gotta be kidding me, that's not loud, come on. And then we sing really fucking loud, and it sounds awful, and it kind of hurts, and we are laughing hard with our voices just shrieking, and I am not alone with the first glimpses of the ocean suddenly blinding me. We all connect with other people however we can. We make small gestures, so we bring cookies to work. We send a text message on New Year's. We buy small presents for people. We are reaching and searching and trying so hard. We are living brief lives and want badly to feel like we are doing it right with nothing to ever really confirm it and 2 million commercials to telling us how we could be doing it slightly better if we spent $10 more. I'm not alone those first few springs in Portland wandering the city and noticing all the important street signs while listening. My shoes wet forever, a whole season meant for sipping coffee and staring out of rain-streaked windows, feeling like I'm in the right place for the first time ever. I am not alone when I get my first job in Portland and these boys from Hawaii that are always cold invite me to come see their pop-punk band play, and I am really instantly in love with all 4 of them, all of them in different ways, but it was real. And I go to every show and every weird basement and shitty venue that would just shake with the sound of them. You don't even know what's here, what's in the back of this house. I made my own merch for that band, which I still have. That was a long time ago, and I feel like that says a lot about me as a person. Up in the West Hills, we are high on 1 million cups of coffee and cheese fries from the Roxy, dancing in the headlights to I can make some mac and cheese. I can sing 12-hour girls. You'll never see my eyes. Just waiting for someone to call the cops on us or for the sun to come up, whichever came first, feeling real invincible, not alone at all, feeling like something new, this life suddenly like an unpredictable chemical reaction, something nobody had even thought of before. We all try and connect however we can. Recently, wombats in the Australian fires were letting other animals hide in their cool, dark burrows. If you play audio recordings of healthy coral reefs near dying reefs, the nearby fish assume that the dying reef is healthier than it is and hang out near it, which helps to revitalize the reef's ecosystem. You've probably seen that video of the badger and the coyote going through the tube with hunting adventures together if you use Instagram like I do. Or the video of the beluga whale returning his cell phone to a lady that dropped it off her boat. We all lie to ourselves about how alone we are in this world. I'm not alone when my friend gives me an actual mixtape decorated in Sharpie and neon pink and tinfoil with a typewriter track list, and I listen to it in my tiny bedroom over and over and over again, and I restlessly move about the room and I listen to this perfect tape that somehow manages to include and also just the first half of Later, I will get the title of this mixtape tattooed to me in his Sharpie handwriting. But this one time I won't regret it. I am not alone in the humidor basement of his band practice or on the edge of his bed when he plays. I'm surrounded, each doorway covered by at least 20 men. Or around the fire of his backyard when he burns his old love letters in the dried out Christmas tree that goes up fast enough to freak me out, and for some reason also decides to burn his nightstand. Him drunk on his knees in the dirt beside the fire. At the time I think, oh man, this moment of my life, this is really important. And ultimately, it will not be. I walk up to him in winter and he's sitting quietly at a table outside the bar and I say, what are you listening to? And his cold fingers pull his headphones off and he puts them over my ears and I hear, and I hold very still because I love this moment. I love this moment with him looking up at me from the bench and I'm not alone with his headphones warm against my ears, feeling like I'm in a movie, that I'm a character that matters and not just somebody in the background. We try and connect. We try to prove that we aren't alone. We try so hard. We remember how our friends take their coffee. We call them. We don't call them, we text them, but whatever. On their birthdays. Duchess the dog ran away 12 years ago, and after being found living under a shed, in October she was reunited with her family over 1,000 miles away. A particular variety of Galapagos tortoise was believed to be extinct since 1906, but they just found one wandering around an island. Sometimes we think we are much more alone than we really are. I'm not alone when he tells me to read Please Kill Me, the uncensored oral history of punk, and I mentioned to him it'd be far more interesting to me if I knew that music, like whatsoever. And he comes to work that week with a soundtrack that he made to help me follow along. And I listened to it on repeat the entire summer, feeling like a fucking champion, riding my bike through Northeast, listening to. I am not alone in my grief at his funeral when the first notes start, and I realize that I will never, ever again hear this without thinking of him. This is the first day of my life. Swear I was born right in the doorway. And then feeling equally grateful that I will also never hear this again without thinking of him either. I'm not alone at the front of the crowd when certain notes start to play and everyone just loses their shit and it's so loud, and I cross my fingers that this time I will keep my glasses, and he screams the words alongside me and nothing exists anywhere but here. Like, how could you even think of an electric bill or a bad news phone call in a moment like this?
And we start again. Go back to what it meant back then.
We all want kindness and connection, something. In 1939, the Kansas Wheat Company realized that poor women were making clothes for their children out of their flour sacks and started using flowered fabric so they can make their kids' dresses that were pretty. They even made the company label out of ink that would wash out. Sunflowers usually face the sun, but if they can't see it, they'll grow to face each other, and then they aren't allowed either. I'm not alone when I'm tequila drunk on the kitchen floor yelling at Alexa to play weird late 90s shit, and we know all the words while the night gets later and the food isn't done, and the speaker just belts out. And we are temporary, and we are foolish, and morning is certainly gonna come too fast, and the dirty dishes are greasy mountains, and we are laughing, and we are not alone together. I'm not alone in the back corner of the dark bar with my hood up, just daring anybody to try and fucking talk to me. When I listen to things that make me feel less crazy, to be so mad, things that validate how wild and upside down everything is, things that help me just explain what's happening, like Belinda.
The Rachel Maddow Show, weeknights at 9 Eastern on MSNBC.
On early dark winter weekend mornings, I am not alone in the kitchen when I'm listening to crackling old records on my bare feet, waiting for the water to boil with sadness and hope and melancholy and anxiety and lightness and darkness just pushing in my temples, letting the record just play and play and play.
There is a brighter day ahead.
13 minutes of listening to music will decrease the stress chemicals in your body. 15 minutes of watching live musical theater will make all of our heartbeats start beating in time with each other. And if you talk to people you know and you're close to during intermission, your heartbeat stays that way for longer. I'm not alone in the grocery store when I'm stalking down the aisles like I've never been sad and I've never been tired and I've never been uncool. Like I am the fiercest person to ever buy green beans and a tiny succulent and dishwasher soap while also listening to I am not alone when I'm soaring down Willamette Boulevard on my bike with the lights of downtown industrial area glowing and my eyes blurring on one of the first warm nights where you can leave without a jacket on, but you like still have a hoodie jammed in your bag because, don't be ridiculous. Filled with some neon reverence, filled with something akin to prayer to the church of blue skies and soaring strings and summer plans and the purity of gratitude and just hitting play on repeat.
I just called to tell you, I just called to say, learn all your mistakes, pass down through generations.
And sometimes I am alone, and that's okay. What's important is that with headphones on, even when I'm alone, I'm certainly never lonely. So at the kitchen table, this hyperbolically, possibly the best mix ever, which actually it isn't, there are definitely a few songs I skip every time, this mix is not for him anymore. He doesn't own these songs. So I listened to it even though the future played out so differently than I thought it would. Because now I will never answer if he calls from the airport just because airports make him think of me, and I will never again pick up if he calls to celebrate midnight of New Year's, hours after he celebrated in his own time zone. These songs aren't his. They never were. Every song is mine if I want it to be. I will never be alone.
Get that playlist, Jasmine.
On the website.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
My partner Mensch was up there and he just posted it a few days ago.
That's great. What's the website?
TelltalePDX.com.
Great. And Telltale's the name of your show.
It is.
And you do it, is it monthly?
Yep, it is always on a Thursday.
A Thursday.
Not a predictable Thursday, but a Thursday.
What venue?
Chapel Theater, which is in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Not Portland, please note.
You
might
have
be
to
able
go.
to tell that's happened before. We've had lots of people text me at the last minute being like, shit.
Oh no.
4107 Southeast Harrison in Portland is not a thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so in Milwaukee.
Yes.
And how long, this is your third season you just wrapped?
We are getting close. This is towards the end of the third season, so June will be the last show of the third season.
Fantastic. Yeah. And it's a different topic each month.
Yeah, so we're really loosely based on a theme, and the themes are always something that hopefully inspires you, / if you don't have something that goes with that theme, it's vague enough that you could be like, yeah, that's fine. Close enough.
Right.
You can have like one sentence and like tie it in. It's
as long as it's inspired and
it's real vague.
I love that you said it's a show for people, I'm going to read it because I want it to be right, that want to get vulnerable and take no shit.
That's the tagline.
Yeah.
You see it up there.
Oh, it's right up there. So what inspired you to make this show, and what about that speaks to you?
I mean, kind of two things. The show itself was inspired by originally sort of the election, like the one. And it happened, I was real mad, and my mad had like nowhere to go. I was just stewing in mad all the time. And like postcards were like fine, but those are important, but it didn't feel like enough for me. And like marching felt cool, but like way too many people, and crowds, not my thing. And so I was trying to find the middle ground of like the thing that I could put my mad into, and I couldn't find anything. So I was like, well, this feels traumatizing, and one of the things that I know about trauma is that one of the only things that counteracts it is community. Where's my community? I don't have one. Fuck. I'll make one.
That's great.
So then I did that, and it worked like more than I thought it would. So I made a thing, and people go to it like every month, which is pretty wild, and like it keeps going up every month. And I used to like do poetry, story, blah blah blah, you know, like teenagers do, when I was a teenager, and then I didn't do that from like 16 to 34, and was like, oh, maybe I'll try this one time. Tried it one time, realized that I loved it, which was very surprising to me, because I am very anxious and very reluctant to do things on stage, and decided to do it anyway. So the idea was like, you know, doing things in front of people is like a super vulnerable thing to do. So I wanted to invite other people who were maybe not confident or felt like that was a thing for them. Maybe they were also people.
Yep.
It would potentially be people who would be interested in being on a microphone who didn't necessarily previously think that that would be for them.
And we've talked about this a lot with other performers. We had Courtney Hameister here, and she did Livewire for 12 years, full of anxiety, and hosted that.
The idea that anxiety doesn't have to stop you from doing the thing.
Well, especially you seem
pretty
like
wild.
a very good writer.
Thank you.
And I can hear it in your writing and in your style, and I think a lot of writers have massive anxiety about actually being in front of people and sharing that work, because it is so incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
But the only way you can get over that fear is by doing it.
Yeah, and then I do it. Like I spend days and days and days being like, oh my god, I have to do the thing. Oh my god, I have to do. Oh, here it is. Oh no, I'm gonna do. And then the thing is, and then it's happening, and I'm like, oh, this isn't the worst thing. And then it's over, which is gonna happen like so soon. This is gonna be done. This is what's gonna happen. And then I'm gonna leave, and I'm going to be back there, and I'm gonna be like, holy shit, I'm the king of everything. I did the thing. And then I'll go through the whole process again next time, where I dread it, and then do it, and then I win.
Well, but your show is incredible. I mean, it's been going
Jay's done it a couple times.
I've done it a couple times, but like it's been going on for 3 years.
Yeah.
And the Chapel Theater and your show, you're one of their first renters.
It's true.
And the theater itself and your show have just grown into a very beautiful, like physical space and like just this amazing show.
Thanks. Yeah,
That's all.
It was
Just
like
a comment.
No, I'll take it. I'll take the compliment. Compliments are lovely. They used to be really hard for me, and I've tried very hard to just be, you know, cool with them. Why shit on them? So it is. My show is pretty great, and I feel pretty awesome about it at this point. And the building is also beautiful because old churches are perfect.
Old churches are perfect.
I just don't need them to do churchy things.
Yeah, down with
anymore.
churchy things and with show
But
things.
like pro stained glass.
Yes, pro stained glass.
And talk about, you know, spaces that have been created over a long period of time to foster community within them, right? They're designed.
There's a lot of different ways for community to like manifest itself.
That's right.
With God and without.
That's right. And I feel like I love those pieces, those references in there about how our hearts beat in unison. And I had mentioned it earlier with our musical guest that there's bonding hormones that are released from singing in harmony. We had the tap group here, and apparently like tapping in rhythm does the same thing. So there's so many ways that we can feel connected to one another. And I feel like right now in our world, we are craving that more than ever because there's so much animosity and tension that it's such a relief to feel connected to other people. And I find that overcoming fear or facing your fear and doing a thing anyway starts to increase your capacity to function even when you're having fear over time. So when I had massive stage fright, I would have panic attacks before shows when I first started improvising, or I would feel fine before the show and be like, oh, I think I'm getting over it, and then weep uncontrollably after a show.
Bodies are so weird.
It's so weird. All these, and it got so bad, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then somebody said to me, a teacher we had come here who has written for Conan O'Brien, he was on the Second City Main Stage.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. His name's Kevin Dorff, and I said, you must have had these moments of fear. You know, how did you overcome them? And he said, I just know it's there. So I know I'm gonna feel scared that day. So I get up, I drink my coffee, I read the newspaper, and I was like, what? Just self-care? Fuck you. I mean, like, I worked so hard to try to make the fear go away that it compounded the fear. And the more you can just live with it there, that dread ball, that's what Courtney calls the thing you were just talking about that builds up. Like, the more you can just accept that it's there and not try to make it go away, the easier life becomes.
Yeah, your anxiety can just coexist with you. It doesn't have to be your enemy all the time.
No.
It feels like it should be. It feels like you're supposed to fight against it.
That's right.
But it's like 100% useless.
It is. Most of the time. Most of the time. Well, thank you so much for being our guest. And your next show is when?
It's going to be March 19th. Normally our shows are $8. The one that's coming up is $15 because it's a fundraiser for the Cupcake Girls, who raises money for folks that are engaged in any facet of sex work. And so we are trying to make a bunch of money for them. But the cool thing about my show is that money should not be a barrier to art. So anybody who's welcome to come in, regardless of whether they have money ever. So you can just come to the desk and be like, paydays, and my friend Kirsten that runs the door will be like, gotcha, don't worry about it. So yes, we do want to make money for the icing on the cake theme. I made those cupcakes.
Nice.
That's in the picture there. They were very good.
Will there be cupcakes at the show?
I don't think so, but I feel like there should be because we're going to just keep saying the word icing and cupcake over and over again.
Yeah.
Which really feels misleading.
You should get some donations.
I'll
There's
have
a couple
to
good cupcake places.
People.
Yeah.
Well, and also I do want to say that if anyone's thinking about becoming a storyteller or want to get involved, but you might be experiencing anxiety, Jasmine is a great person, and Telltale is a great place to start because you don't turn anyone away. And
this show's for you.
It's
like
for you.
The person that's like, oh, I don't think I can do this. Maybe this isn't for me. I need to be better at it. I need to practice first. That's not true. We've had many people cry, many people shake, many people go, oh God, can I not go? Maybe I can go next. That's fine. This is for you. This one is for you. You can do it.
Thank you so much. Jasmine Pettet, everybody. Thank you so much. Great job.
She's doing the Lord's work.
She's doing it. We're almost done, Jay. We only have a little bit left. But before we get to our very last, our last song from our musical guest, this is a show that requires a lot of work. It takes a lot to put all of this together, and of course, those things are never free. So we do have some sponsors. So we need to take a minute for a word from our sponsor, Running.
I love to run.
I run.
He loves to run.
I love to run. I too love to run.
I run. I am a runner.
I run because I love to run.
I love to run because I love running. Running is when I run. Come run with me.
I don't need to run. I have to run.
When do you run? Forever. When I run, I move past things and people.
What is running?
What is run?
Stop running. Start running. Even though on the outside, we're not running, on the inside, we're running. Is a non-runner's life worth saving from a boat? Yes. Don't let boats run your decisions.
Just running.
Just running.
Yeah.
Running with a little Nike swoosh at the end.
Just a little.
But yes, do save people from boats, whether they run or not. All right, are you ready for our final act of the night?
This is it!
Yes! Please welcome back the lovely Sarah Leenders!
I want you to know. Just kidding. it feels right. Well, this ain't my first rodeo. Yeah, I've loved and lost before. It's always gonna be a leap of faith. We just don't get to know for sure. But when my heart goes in, all bets are off. It's game totally over. There's nothing I can do about it, baby. So as long as I'm allowed to, from now on I'm gonna love you. 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 Whatever happens now for you and me, yeah, we might crash and we might burn, or maybe we'll find ease and harmony. Well, either way, we'll get to learn. 'Cause when my heart goes in, all bets are off. It's game totally over. There's nothing you can do about it, baby. So as long